This press statement is titled, Mrs. Stella Oduah, a cry for justice against gender-motivated political violence and persecution through instrumentality of prosecutorial agency in Nigeria. Good afternoon, gentlemen of the press, legal practitioners here, ladies and gentlemen. This press statement has become very crucial, urgent and necessary to quickly address the political persecution, victimization and oppression of Senator Stella Oduah, which includes a trial by ordeal through the media. As you are already aware, our client is being alleged to have been charged before the Federal High Court, Abuja, over a purported allegation of forgery and altering of NYC certificate. I'm sure all of you have read this on the news media. First and foremost, we wish to state that our client is not aware of the charge, as apart from the non-service of the purported charge on her, except the one we got through the social media. There is no investigation of any kind or sort was carried out either by the Nigeria police or any security agency. In fact, she was not invited to make any statement by any of the security agencies. This position is supported by the fact that no proof of evidence bearing her statement is annexed to or accompany the charge. Not even the staff of the NYC is being proposed as a witness in the charge being floated around. Secondly, the purported charge was filed by the police force headquarters by the duo of Ochogu Ogbe, W.A. Esquire, and Ibrahim Mohammed Esquire, who claim to be lawyers with police without affixing their law-practicing seals. We all know that non-lawyers cannot prosecute cases in court. Now, they did not affix their practicing seal. There is no address except the EFCC address, which they attached there, which is number 1, Court Road, GRA, Benin City, with phone number 070-1199-1691. So the question now is this: is the police or EFCC that is behind this charge? Those are the questions that is begging for answers. We have not been able to find that. To prove that a faceless person is behind the charge, no seal of a legal practitioner were affixed to the charge. There was no seal of a legal practitioner. Thirdly, it is pertinent to know that EFCC does not have the powers to prosecute an offense under the penal code. We know there have been so many decided authorities on that. The charge does not allege any offense under the EFCC Act, but criminal code. When you are talking of forgery of certificate, it has nothing to do with EFCC. We have the case on Wobika and EFCC, recently decided by the Supreme Court. NYC certificate is neither a financial or economic crime to bother EFCC. In any case, we have been to EFCC headquarters for investigation, but they deny knowledge of the charge. They also acknowledge the fact that it's not within their power to prosecute somebody with forged NYC. So that has to be noted. And then the spurious allegation against our client has of not participating in the NYC have been dismissed by the Supreme Court in a civil matter altogether. That is something outstanding in favor of our client. But because of political victimization and vindictiveness, people kept on parading the same thing, recycling the same allegation that have been judicially determined from the Federal High Court, Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. Fourthly, since the charge discloses the FCC Benin as its source, why was the charge not filed at Federal High Court Benin? Those are the questions that is begging for answer. Benin has a Federal High Court. This clearly smack of a game plan to sever our client and create confusion. The prosecutorial authority should not be for hire by political hirelings. The unabated thuggery and pervasive impunity in the electoral process are being brought to the corridors of justice, because prosecution and court work hand in hand. So the thuggery that we have in the political electoral system, they will have in the state, in the local government, is what they are now bringing to court. There are so many charges being filed by people that have no authority, no mandate to do it. And that is what we are looking at here. And we are now in a regime of accountability. It's an issue that we need to look at seriously. Fifthly, the instance charge is a violation of the Code of Conduct for Prosecutors as issued by the Federal Ministry of Justice, and particularly under Article 7, Part B thereof. I mean, people should not pursue personal interest in prosecution. The Ministry of Justice issue Code of Conduct for Prosecutors. It's there. But this is clearly a case of people being hired to pursue somebody for no just cause. Police is denying the charge. EFCC is denying the charge. And then we all know what happened in court this morning. Meanwhile, the matter came up today before the Federal High Court, Abuja, and you may wish to know that the Honorable Presiding Judge, His Lordship Justice James Omotosho, ordered the immediate arrest of the lawyer that issued the charge and appear for the prosecution. It was ordered that he be taken to EFCC headquarters for confirmation of his status as a police officer or EFCC staff and lawyer respectively. In other words, not even the court is comfortable with the anomalies contained on the face of the charge. They were in a hurry to kill somebody, and now they are making error. And they are being sponsored by political opponents of our client to keep on pursuing him even when he's having victories in court, even when he's not the only one being investigated for so odd things. While thanking His Lordship Justice Omotosho for his courage and boldness, as a follow-up, we shall not stop at just this press conference. We shall take further action or step hereafter in due course, and this shall include but not limited to: 1. We shall petition to IG for investigation and to call to order those bringing the image of police to disrepute. We shall petition to EFCC to investigate this impersonation and abuse of their prosecutorial power, drawing the attention of the Chief Registrar of the Federal High Court on the issue of filing documents contrary to the party's direction on fixing of seals of legal practitioner. And upon identifying this lawyer, we also petition disciplinary committee of the law of the legal practitioners for appropriate prosecution. We also file malicious prosecution in court or competent jurisdiction and claim both punitive and exemplary damages against those behind this. This is a new political dispensation which I promise adherence to rules of law and accountability. We need a breath of fresh air. Now we'll be talking about fake jump. Now we are talking about fake criminal charges. This is a time for accountability. We are calling on the police and the EFCC to take immediate action to redeem their image and to prevent the abuse of their powers. Because what we are seeing now is that individuals are taking the law into their hands to pursue a private citizen of this country that is law-abiding, that is pursuing his matter legitimately in court, because these are political matters, and people are taking up law into their hands, using the instrumentality of the law to victimize our client. It has suffered so many adjournments. It's not an issue I want to comment upon because it's a matter pending before the court of law. But we know the last adjourned day when it came up, the matter was adjourned because the judge alleged that he received threat. So even we in defending this case, we will all be receiving threat. So we were surprised that even the judge was also threatened in that case. And it was adjourned for investigation of the number that was used to threaten the judge. So it's a matter that there is an ongoing investigation on that. It's a pending matter before the court. We don't want to go into the merit of the case. But we know that the same group of people that are preventing the EFCC to reach a conclusive decision on the compartment of this case are the one behind this. The same political group, the same opponent that are fueling the use of the instrumentalities of law to abuse the system of court are the same people that are behind the threat. We know that very well.
So you said the charge has not been served on you.
Of serving on our client, because if it was a properly filed charge, you know the procedure are very clear. You serve, and when you could not serve, you ask for arrest warrant. None of this happened. So they decided to file it in court and then file in the press. So it behoves on us to also use the press to report this. Up to now, they have not served our client. It's not aware. We got the information about the charge in the press, just as all of us got the information, which is clearly showing that, look, they are not really ready about prosecution or doing the right thing. And now that the police and EFCC are denying when their names and address are there, I mean, the cause for a real investigation. That where are we going in this country? Can private individual now take the law into their hands to use any kind of person they know in the system to file criminal charges? I mean, there is a big problem here. I think the government should not take these allegations lightly. This is something that ought to be investigated so that people that are found wanting should be brought to book.
Then it's safe to say that since the police...
Because in the press, whether there is a charge or not has to be determined by court. That is the issue. So when we are served, we will come to court to respond. But now we have not been served, and it's everywhere in the press, in the television. So this is a trial by media. That's what we are talking about. We have to respond to it, to bring the fraud that is being committed using the instrument of law, the prosecutorial power of the state. That's what they are using. Because our client is available. He was in the tribunal the other day. They know his house, they know his address, they know what to do. But instead of doing that, they are trying to prejudice the mind of the public against her, to show that he's a criminal, trial by media. That's what we're against here. So we have to use the same media to disabuse the mind of the people and call the law to take action in things like this. When somebody is a police officer, is not in EFCC, went and used the name of EFCC to file a charge and parading it, giving it to Sahara reporters and all medias. I mean, this is a woman, for God's sake, a political leader, a woman. So we are looking at, because it's a woman. Because it's a woman, there's a gender issue here. This political violence, we believe in that. Yeah, it's a woman. I mean, so that is all. That is all about it.